The Joe Rogan Experience.
The education and healthcare, those are the two things that I think we can both agree we need to invest money on, and we need to figure out some way to make that more accessible to people.
Yes.
And I don't understand people that don't think that. And if that's what that is, the strict father mentality, the only thing that it makes sense to me is that you don't want people who are kind of half-assing college, just
Sure.
that can just get in.
I think that comes up a lot when you hear about so-called free college, which isn't free. We're saying we're paying for it through taxation. Mm-hmm. Really important to point that out. It's just not for everybody, and that's okay. I mean, I think that sometimes gets lost.
Yes.
And yes, there are more and more jobs that require college degrees, even though you could make the case maybe the college degree is not actually necessary, but it's a way to sort of thin the herd of applicants in order to just make hiring, more practical. But I do think that it's okay to say that college isn't for everybody. But the same ideas that apply to so-called free college, meaning college paid for through education, could apply to trade school. They could apply to retraining programs.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of other ways that it could be done.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, the college is not for everyone thing is more true now than ever before, particularly with certain technology studies. You're learning things during your 4 years at a university that are just going to be completely outdated by the time you graduate.
In what kind of program, for example?
Well, Jamie, what he did with audio engineering.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He went to school for audio engineering. By the time he got out, it was all useless.
Now, but that was not a 4-year bachelor's program, right?
It is now.
Oh, it is now. Okay.
Yeah. When I went there, it wasn't available for that, but since then they have made that available, and that's also in the time that YouTube has made basically education free for a lot of people.
Sure.
So,
I mean, I think with that, the issue is, in my mind, that when you consider the cost relative to the earnings potential, as you pointed out when you talk about $68,000 a year, or
whatever it is.
I guess taught at Boston College, and I think it was like $64,000, something like that. Depending on what field you're going into, it's almost impossible to pay that off ever.
Yeah.
So at some point something needs to change, and this kind of gets us into the technological automation and unemployment stuff of what happens as computers and technology start to replace jobs. And that's where I think there's a pretty clear line between a free market capitalist, a social democrat like myself, and actual socialism, like what should happen with the gains that come from those technological advancements. But as far as the education piece is concerned, it's completely unsustainable the way it is now.